So I know that we need to talk a lot about football, and I know that we've got important stuff to get through, but I really think it's important that you know about a thing called Line of Duty, which every English person right now will be going, thank God Sarah is being told about this. There is currently a TV show that airs every Sunday night. That's why I need to go soon, because if I miss this, I'm literally going to be the biggest loser in the UK.
Can you not record it?
Yes, I can record it, but then everybody on Twitter will tell me what the outcome is.
Oh, okay.
It's like a crime thing, and it's about like organised crime in the police, and it's like a really dramatic TV show. It's so good. Can't wait for you to get it in America, because you will flip. It is so good.
I don't know. I'm going to be honest, and I know this is going to shock a lot of people. I'm a really big wimp when it comes to any form of scary TV or movies.
Okay, no, nothing. It's not. It's a BBC drama. It's literally like Coronation Street or something. Honestly, you will not be scared. The without any context whatsoever, the end of the last episode, there was one person with a gun to the other person, and then she was like, don't fucking shoot, don't shoot, don't shoot. And he's like, I'm gonna shoot. And then the screen went blank, and it went poof, poof. What's happened?
It sounds like they both died.
Well, imagine it was just a sound effect, but everyone's like, what was that noise? What was that noise? And now literally the whole of British Twitter has been just going on about it all week.
That's really fun. I love when that's the I think The Bachelorette is basically the equivalent of that here, where just like everybody gets on Twitter and you're just like, but if I don't watch it live, then I miss everybody talking about it on Twitter, and I don't want to watch it if I'm not talking about it on Twitter.
I mean, then also on the other side, we do obviously want to get this content out to you guys, and it's really important because this week has been, in the words of Sarah, hot.
That's what I say. That sounds like me.
Yeah, and I'm not going to sing Take Off All Your Clothes because I'm not inappropriate, and I did that last week's episode.
You know what? I have those lyrics that we're going to post, by the way, for anybody who wants to read my chemistry rap lyrics.
Why have you been avoiding doing this?
I actually forgot about it.
Get the lyrics up.
Totally forgot about it.
So head over to the Women's Soccer Show, thewososhow.com. Check out some of our amazing content that we've put out around all of the amazing games and situations that have been happening over the last couple of weeks in the world of women's football. Also, give us a follow on The Woso Show. Probably most of you already do anyway. And we're going to try and cover the last few weeks of women's football, including the NWSL Challenge Cup, which has been so crazy.
It's been so awesome. And it's like I know it hasn't even peaked yet. I know we're getting to even more exciting things.
I don't know if there's going to be a better game than the highlight game that we've got this week.
That's a fair point.
But
you know, you never know.
Come back to me in a few weeks, you know. Before we start this week's crazy episode and go into Champions League, NWSL, WSL, yada, 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 we want to quickly go over and do a really fun segment that we just did with the footy fellas. We're actually going to put up the entire uncut version on our Patreon for all of you Patreon subscribers. It was really, really funny. Check it out. I am delighted to bring back onto the show. You'll all remember them from our last conversation because there was uproar. It's the footy fellas. It's Max, Eli, and Max. Is that the order you like it? Or do you go Max, Max, Eli? Or Eli, Max, Max?
We switch it up. I think, we're not giving away too much information, but a lot of our passwords for our shared accounts is and then some numbers. You won't know the numbers, but usually how it works.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There it is, everybody. If you want to get into that.
Cut that. Make sure we cut that. You still nailed it somehow.
I was like, why would you offer that information up?
And we're really happy to have you back on. I don't know if anybody at home remembers, but last time they came on, we put together the ultimate USA five-a-side team, and it went down so well. Everybody was having a bit of a laugh with it because we mixed. It was men and women's mixed team. We thought we'd bring you back on and get you to do another five-a-side team, but this time we want you to create a five-a-side team, but every single player, it's a women's team. Every player has to come from a different nation. I'm going to share with everybody at home. Max Winter and I have already had a little conversation because he's put no goalkeeper in the squad, which is fine. Probably going to lose a lot nil by having no goalkeeper. But completely your call, Max, to not have a goalkeeper. I'm going to start with that, I guess. So would you guys like to share your defense? What formation have you gone with? What have been your decision making when it came to your formation and your defense?
So I'm doing a 2-1-2, no goalie.
Oh my
It's-
goodness.
It's the sweeper keeper idea. Also, I think that I have a lot of really good goal scorers. So we'll just win with a sheer amount of goals, just an enormous amount of goals. So my two defenders, just starting in the back, we've got Crystal Dunn of the U.S., defender for the Portland Thorns, and Mapi Leon. She's from Spain, fearless Barcelona defender.
Yes.
And when I watched some highlights, kind of reminded me of Piqué and Puyol combined. So she rocks.
I love that you've gone straight in with your US women's national team player. I was like
I
wanting
know,
to
it's
know
fun.
who all your US women's, because let's face it, a five-a-side women's team. Imagine you're all like, no, I didn't put one in. So Crystal Dunn is your chosen US women's national team player. Any reason? Is she your like favorite, or is she just your most solid for this particular team?
I think for this particular team, most solid. I went with, and you'll hear my attacking players later on, but I had some really great attackers early on. And I know that Americans usually churn out some solid defenders, and Crystal Dunn is surely one of them.
Yeah, got to be up there. So over to you guys. Any matches in there, or are you guys different back? What is your formations first of all, Max? Other Max.
So I'm rocking so to be clear, do I have a goalie and 5 players or a goalie and 4 players?
Goalie
goalie
and 4
and 4.
players.
Perfect. Okay, great. So I've got a diamond formation, which means that I'm rocking just one in the back. My goalie is Christiane Endler, of course.
Oh.
Of course.
What a
hailing from
choice.
Chile. I think she's just been, her length is incredible, and she's incredibly just athletic. Nothing's going by her, so I'm very confident with that. And then, I mean, Lucy Bronze. She brings the energy. Yes! She's offensive, as well as defensive, and especially on this field. Do you guys mind? I'm sorry, I'm explaining Lucy Bronze. One second.
I think if you talk about Lucy Bronze for the entire 15 minutes, Helen.
Delighted. Thank you so much for coming on, guys. This has been the Footy Fellas. Good night.
But I do think if she's playing by herself in the small 5v5-a-side situation, I need her to be mobile. I need her to get back. And if she can make some sprints up front and get some goals, which she does on the regular, I'm feeling pretty bullish about my team.
Great shout.
I'm just going to jump in and say so far, I'm sorry, Winter, but I think just in terms of what we've heard so far, it sounds like Max has a much better squad build.
All right, wait till I get to my
Only
attack.
for the sole reason that I'm not entirely sure which of your two defenders has more hand-eye coordination and which one will really be the sweeper keeper.
I think they'll both wear gloves just in case, so they can kind of.
Just in case, yeah.
I'm also I will come on to it later in the show, but I think Endler was probably the player of the match today. So as well, it's kind of a nice little touch that she's made it into your goalkeeping squad. And I'm really proud I didn't just mention Lucy Bronze there. I talked about his other decision, everybody. I didn't mention Lucy Bronze. Thank you. Eli, who have you got at the back, and what's your formation?
Was your story last time we chatted, was that about running into Lucy Bronze or someone else? You ran into it was Lucy Bronze.
It was.
So she was also on my list, but because I'm also going to go one in the back, similar to Jones over here, I think it makes more sense to go with someone that's a bit more defensive minded, perhaps, that can stand alone and hold down the back line by themselves. Lucy's a great player. She's also very attacking minded, that outside back mentality. So I'm going to go with Wendy Reynard. Leon, perhaps a gimme, perhaps too obvious of a choice. The one thing I loved when I was looking up more information online, just how long she's been on Leon. The New York Times wrote an article and described her as an institution. And I think that's a great nickname. Like if you're a defender and your nickname is the institution, that just speaks volumes about how consistent you are. So she is my defender. And then in goal, had to do a bit of research here as well, because I'm not as familiar with goalies from around the world, to be honest, in the women's game. And I ended up going with Almuth Schult, if I'm saying that correctly. The Wolfsburg goalie.
Yeah.
German goalie. Yep. German goalie. And Reynard is from France, for anyone that doesn't know. So those are the two countries I'm checking off on my back line.
Schult is an amazing shout. People say that probably one of the best goalkeepers of all time, but Germany have a real history of women's goalkeepers. It's a thing. Mm-hmm. And men's, if you actually think about it, Manuel Neuer, they've got a real thing. They're just brilliant. Let's move into midfield forward. We'll go with Max Winter. Do you want to give us your other 3 players?
Yes.
You've got to really pull it
do.
back now, because
I know.
seriously.
I've got just a lethal three up front. So
Okay.
the midfield, Debinha from Brazil, plays for the Courage. She rocks. And I especially was taking a look when they played Gotham FC. And she dropped 2 in a very short amount of time. She's very good. So Debinha,
shout out to your foreshadowing, you guys. Really just dropping some little dimes in here about everything we're going to talk about later. So this is perfect.
Perfect. And then the 2 up top, we've got an Australian and a Dutch player. We've got Sam Kerr.
Sammy.
She is the leading goal scorer right now in the Super League. And Vivian Miedema for Arsenal. She's got 17, and they just are lethal. So
I think Vivian Miedema is the number 1 Netherlands goal scorer of all time, bar none, bar anyone else for her country. She's an absolutely outstanding player for club and country. I have a feeling she'll probably leave Arsenal this summer, but everybody's in denial a little bit about it.
I'm in denial about that. For sure.
Sarah is.
I don't want to talk about it. I appreciate that Max Winter has done something different here and gone with a U.S. player in the back instead of one of the attacking players. When you think about the U.S. women's national team right now, the standout players are up top, but instead he's gone with arguably the best all-around player on the field in Crystal Dunn and been like, okay, there's a ton of incredible attacking talent all across the rest of the world. Let's just use some of that.
Okay, other Max, hit us with your other 3 players.
We're rocking, again, we're completing that diamond. So 2 midfield and a striker up top. I think the only thing that really stands here as a given is the center back, right, with Lucy Bronze and my striker, which is I'm following with Vivian Miedema. I think that just her ability to kind of play this center piece where things will be played into her and she'll play it off or she'll turn and score. It's going to be automatic. But the question is, who's working underneath her? Who's flying around, filling all the positions? Who else then? Of course, Debinha. That was a no-brainer. Incredible athlete, incredible skill. But to complement that, Rose Lavelle. Rose Lavelle is going to be my everything. She is my everything. And I think on this team, she will bring us that sweet, sweet glory.
I really love that Debinha has now graced our presence in 2 out of 2 of the teams, because I have been saying so many times that I think she's just so underrated and incredible. I do want to comment on so far, the Brazilian players that we've heard have not been Marta, which is very interesting.
We'll go to Eli and then we'll have a vote, Sarah. I wasn't going to do a vote, but now I want to do a vote X Factor style. Okay, Eli.
I like that I'm the judge here.
Yes, this is great. Okay, Eli, hit us with your 3.
It's great. We've all gone with one of the famed long-standing Brazil partnership. They went with Debinha. I went with Marta. Obviously, not much need to say. Many of the past World Cup, she's been a legend forever. I still remember watching her against the U.S., against a couple of other teams, and you wait on her every touch. You wait on her every attack, the way you wait on almost Messi, honestly, in the women's game. She has that status of she can do anything at any moment. So she will be starting for me all the way up top on my diamond, similar to Jones. My other 2 midfielders, we're going with a little Portland Thorns connection because they've been red hot in the Challenge Cup. And I've genuinely loved watching both of these players play. First, center defensive mid, little more defensive, very solid though, lot solid, little defensive, and that is Lindsay Horan. She is my U.S. representative. Now that we've all shouted out our U.S. representatives, but she is just so good in the air. I remember watching the Challenge Cup last year and remarking how strong she is in the air, and she's been great this year. In front of her, Christine Sinclair, Canadian superpower. She's also been great for a long time. I think my team has a bit of age to them, but my pitch to Helen and Sarah, think about how many big games they've played in. Think about all their big game experience. They won't be phased by either of these 2 Jokers teams. And I think they're ready to take it home.
Sarah, initial thoughts. Are you leaning towards a 5-a-side team?
I do think that as a whole, Max Winter has the best players on his team, period. However, I think formation is more important because we're playing 5-a-side, and I'm sorry, but you need a goalie. So I'm going with other Max's formation. I think Dabinia and Rose Lavelle in the midfield is absolutely lethal. And Emler in goal, Lucy Bronze at the back. I just like this team has all of the dimensions that you need to win in a five-a-side, and that's what I'm going with.
So let's
Sorry,
do even crueler. 3 points for your first place, 2 points for your second place, and 0 points for your third place, and then I'll do my first, second, third. I got cruel right there at the end. I don't know why.
The Max who put a goalkeeper in his formation gets the 3 points. I'm really struggling now. I'm second guessing myself because I don't want to go back on what I was saying about having a goalkeeper.
Well, I'll do my first place.
You give us your number one, Helen.
Okay.
While I think.
I completely disagree with you, but no. My first place is Eli's squad. I purely for the defensive qualities in having Schultz in goal with Renard directly in front. And Lindsay Horan is such a good box-to-box player that I think that she would just go the entire 60 minutes in that five-a-side pitch and she'd be all over the shop. So I'm going to give Eli my 3 points. And I haven't decided on my second place either. So
I've decided now, so we can go over there. I think the best players need to be on the field. And for that reason, even though he doesn't have a goalkeeper.
Oh my God.
My second place is going to Max Winter because that's just
well done, Max.
A stunning squad. I think my jaw would drop just looking at those five together.
And here it is, the moment of truth. So my 2 points, what will that do? That will decide the winner. No.
Oh, I wish you hadn't figured that out. Oh, no.
It will decide the winner.
The winner is going to Lucy Bronze, Max.
Oh,
no. I love that Lucy Bronze won it in the end. The only English addition to this five-a-side game that we've just played, which gives Max non-winter 5 points. We are going to have to move on, guys, but thank you so much for coming on to talk to us about your five-a-side team. Maybe we should catch up during the Olympics when the US women's national team is smashing it up. We'd love to have you back on.
We would relish the opportunity. Thanks for having us.
No
worries.
worries.
Love to have you on too.
Yeah.
You two are willing to chat with the fellas on Footy Fellas. That'd be great.
Yes, I'd love that.
Always.
Right, we'll see you on the other side then, guys. Thank you so much to the Footy Fellas for joining us tonight. Cheers. Bye. The NWSL Challenge Cup and our game of the week. What was it, Sarah?
Deep breath, because I was exhausted after the first half of this game.
I know.
Just what happened. Gotham FC versus North Carolina Courage. I have so much to say. Like, my mind is exploding right now. Just excuse me, Gotham FC. Like, what is happening? If you had told me that we would have picked Gotham versus North Carolina Courage as our game of the week when we had Chelsea versus Manchester City, we had Champions League, I'd have been like, absolutely not. There's a 0% chance that that's happening. But guess what? Here we are. Helen, I think this game was on at like 3 a.m. your time. Did you get a chance
11
to catch
p.m.
it? Oh, really?
11 p.m.
Oh, excuse me.
It was actually all good. It was one of the sort of few that's really been okay for me because I'm a bit of a... People may already know this. I'm a bit of a night owl. You'll know from my 2 a.m. tweets where I just say random things where I'm like, still not asleep.
Yeah, the best time to be on Twitter is 2 a.m. anyway.
Yeah, exactly. And so I was able to catch this. Gotham FC 4, North Carolina Courage 3. Anyone who put money on that doesn't know women's football. Like, anyone who was on some betting website and just was like, oh, Gotham FC versus North Carolina, I'm going to go 4-3. It's something within me. It's telling you'd be like, you're an idiot, mate. You're an idiot. And that was the score. So let's go through it.
Let's definitely get into it. Oh my goodness. This was not the old Sky Blue FC. I have pretty much lost my mind by the end of this game, and I tweeted out basically like a Taylor Swift quote. I was like, the old Sky Blue FC can't come to the phone right now. Why? Because Gotham is busy beasting all over this or something like that. I absolutely lost my mind. Thank you to whoever tweeted back with the Taylor Swift gif. I'm happy somebody understood what that was.
Everyone else was like, she needs to sleep.
Everyone
She
was
needs
like,
a rest.
Helen, get off Twitter at 3 a.m.
That was me. It was me with the Taylor Swift gif at 3 a.m.
This game was absolutely outstanding. Like I said, first half was absolutely wild. 17th minute, and Midge Purse picks up the ball in her half with absolutely nobody within about 10 yards of her. She runs at the back line and basically just kicks it into gear and takes it all the way. It was an utter breakdown in North Carolina's center backs. Purse basically just sprinted straight through their center backs. There was no cover, and once she beat one of them, it was over. So big breakdown for North Carolina, but at the end of the day, Midge Purse absolutely took that upon herself, put the first goal away. Dabinia put 2 away immediately after that in a row in the 22nd and the 24th minute. Both of these goals came from McDonald on the outside, crossing it into an absolutely wide open Dabinia. So again, we see a breakdown in defense leading to goals.
But also it comes back to this McDonald debate as well, doesn't it?
Really
where you're going, wow, like, yes, I know that the result didn't end up in NCC's favour, but like McDonald, she's just class. She's just brilliant.
She
just
created
showed
those
it again.
chances. Yeah, Dabinia doesn't get that goal if McDonald isn't on the field. So you might be thinking that that's how the first half ended. It didn't, because that wasn't enough goals. So it is not over, because 2 minutes after Dabinia puts her second goal away, Midge Purse her second goal away to equalize the game at 2-2. This was basically Paige Monahan's goal, but it just popped off of Midge Purse at the end to go into the goal. Monahan gets the assist, so we're all happy. But now we're equalized at 2-2, and guess what? The half still isn't over, because Carly Lloyd then puts Gotham up in the 32nd minute. It was a pretty classic Lloyd goal where she had her back to goal, pretty much just turned on the defender and hit that ball one touch and finished it perfectly. And that is how we get to halftime. Absolutely exhausted.
I literally looked at my watch. I was like, it's not even midnight.
The second half was much more calm than the first half, but that's not saying much. So McDonald scores the first goal of the half in the 50th minute to equalize off of a header. At this point, McDonald has been involved in 3 out of 3 of North Carolina's goals. And we're at 3-2 North Carolina. We're at 3-3 North Carolina for the rest of the half until the 92nd minute, and Onamanu has come in as a sub off the bench for Gotham FC. She finds the ball on the outside of the box, crosses it across the goal, and Viens finishes it for the winner. Gotham FC wins 4-3 in stoppage time. My jaw dropped. I was just like, are we in a different space and time continuum? I don't exactly know, but this is amazing.
And it was wild in that stadium. Like, it was wild. I also want to shout out Sarah. She'll be all embarrassed and blushing, but she actually wrote a blog about Gotham FC. Go and check it out on our website, thewozoshow.com. It's really good.
Stop it.
Can they go all the way? Do you genuinely believe this is possible?
I 100% do. First of all, there's just a lot of similarities. Now, this isn't a reason that they'll go all the way, but I just think it's really interesting. There's some similarities in Gotham FC and Houston in terms of the type of players that they have on their team and really how they're seen from the rest of the fan base. I'll leave it at that as a little foreshadowing. Go check out the blog for, some more details on it. But I want to call out some key players who are just having such an incredible impact on this team, and I think are a key reason why they are sitting number 1 in the East right now. Jennifer Cujo in the midfield, she just absolutely holds it down in the center mid. They have got quite a lethal 3 up top with Carly Lloyd, Midge Purse, and Paige Monahan. And Cujo really holds it down in the midfield. And then I really want to shout out Onamanu. I said this when I was talking to Chris in last week's episode. Very underrated. Not a lot of people know who she is. She started in Gotham FC's first game. She came off the bench in the second game. But at the end of the day, she's been involved in the majority of their goals that have been scored. Even with limited minutes like that, player to keep your eye on for sure. And no matter if she's starting or coming off the bench, the fact that she can impact the game from either side is really big.
Just a quick roundup of the other fixtures. Chicago Red Stars took on Kansas City, ended in a 1-1 draw. And then we'll quickly stop on Orlando Pride versus Washington Spirit because it ended 1-0 to Orlando. I have a question. Kelly O'Hara scores a goal.
Oh my God.
Why was it disallowed?
Oh my God.
I was waiting to ask you about this. I don't understand.
I really don't want to rag on the referee because refereeing's hard and, but
But you're about to do it anyway.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
It was terrible. Basically what happened was Washington got a penalty right outside the box. And generally speaking, you can go and take your penalties quickly if you want. Specifically, though, the rule is that if the referee blows her whistle to stop the game dead, you have to wait until she blows her whistle to start the game up again. In other words, you can't play quickly. So Washington played quickly and scored. And the ref basically allowed it until they were back on their own half to start the kickoff, and then like reversed her decision and was like, wait, hold on, no, it's coming back. At the end of the day, it came back because she hadn't blown her whistle to restart play. But the way I was seeing it was she had fully walked away from the play and her back was to goal. She didn't see the play happen. She didn't see the goal. And I think it was a bit of a power trip on her end to be like, well, I didn't see it, so it's not a goal. And there was a really weird moment after that between her and Kelly O'Hara when they were retaking the penalty, when she basically just like moved Kelly 1 yard further left as an utter power trip. And I thought it was ridiculous. I did not think that goal should have been called back. Yeah, me
neither. I think that you have the right to take a quick free kick
Absolutely.
as long as everybody's ready, and the referee should have been ready. It's kind of surreal. Obviously, Orlando ended up winning 1-0, but she's at it again.
Oh my God.
Penalties. Our girl saving penalties, Ashlyn Harris.
Listen,
Did
Helen,
you love it?
she's not just at it again. It's almost like she just stepped it up to a whole new level where I was just like,
what's she doing?
She is this entire team. If they had anybody else in goal, they would have gotten absolutely destroyed that game.
Well, I want to sort of shout out Sydney Leroux, obviously scored the opener, but she's had a fantastic tournament, right? I think that she's been one of the players for Orlando.
Couldn't agree more. Love to see her coming back. Obviously, she was part of the U.S. women's national team who won the 2015 World Cup. She's been on and off the field because she's had 2 children, and I think has really been trying to work her way back into the U.S. women's national team pool, so it's really great to see her start to shine again. Finally,
in the dying minutes, Kelly O'Hara got 2 yellow cards in the space of 5 minutes. I wonder if that was lag from that initial equaliser and that sort of thing in terms of her frustration through the game with the referee and decisions and things like that. What did you make of it?
I thought that there were far too many yellow cards handed out as a whole in this game.
I'm getting the idea that you didn't think the ref was good.
Yeah, I really didn't. And, the commentators that I was listening to did say that this referee has a kind of like a track record of handing out a lot of yellow cards. And they were right from the start. It was like any foul pretty much equaled a yellow card. It was almost like her trying to have too much control on the game. And by that, the players were like, fuck you.
So in the final game of this week, Portland comfortably beat OL Reign 2-0. Both goals in the first half in a game where Rangers could not finish their chances and could not really get shots on target. They only had 3 in the game. Reign even brought on Meg Rapp, the Rapino, and she struggled even to kill the deficit. So it was a really tough game for OL Reign. Hopefully they start to pick up some more points as we go through the tournament. And now we're going to have a short advert break and we'll join you on the other side.
Have you checked out Total Football Analysis yet? TotalFootballAnalysis.com provides researched analysis on loads of football games, including women's football. Want to know why Miedemar scores so many goals? Do you want to explore how City have turned it around this season? Head over to TotalFootballAnalysis.com and sign up to learn more about the beautiful game. We have a special discount for listeners of the Women's Soccer Show. At checkout, type WOSO10 to get a full year for €10. That's €40 off the yearly subscription. Head over to TotalFootballAnalysis.com and type WOSO10 at checkout.
Everybody, it is the games that you've all been talking about. The Champions League first leg semi-finals. We have Bayern versus Chelsea and we have PSG versus my girls in Barcelona. Ay, ay, ay.
Wow, that was actually beautiful, Helen.
Thank you so much.
Have you ever done musical theater?
All day. I don't want to go on about it, but I'm actually a trained actor. Okay.
For the record, I didn't have the time to tally up everything from the past. In our bet, I'm very sorry. I promised to do it before next week.
Well, we will come back to it, but let's start Bayern Munich in an absolute shocker for most people, beat Chelsea 2-1. I want to kind of open with something that I'm going to kind of cause a little bit of a stink, and then you're going to say, meh, and then we're going to move on from it. But
okay.
I think there's a lot of pressure and hype around Chelsea this season and the end of last season, and when they brought in people like Sam Kerr and started paying really good wages to players. They do have a world-class team, and I do totally think that. But I do think because it's the English division, there's a lot more emphasis put on them than the likes of Bayern, PSG or Barcelona. And this is a team, this Chelsea team, that have had slip-ups in the WSL this season. They've not been squeaky clean. Whereas if you look at those remaining 3 teams in the Women's Champions League, they simply haven't faltered in their divisions.
I would absolutely agree that I think it's kind of wild that there's this narrative that the WSL is the most competitive league. Like, I think I could make an argument that many other leagues are much more competitive than the WSL, in the sense that there's less of a gap in other leagues between the top and the bottom, which just leads to better competition, which leads to better teams, in my opinion. So I don't think that's wild at all.
I feel bad for Chelsea, and I feel bad for Chelsea fans, because what hype does is it adds another layer of pressure. Bayern go ahead early in the 11th minute. It was open play, and to be totally honest, they'd been strong from the opening whistle, right? I think Bayern had dominated those first 10 minutes. And it's Hannah Glass who's really found her feet at Bayern Munich since leaving PSG in the summer. She comes streaming down that right-hand wing. She tosses the ball into the area. A lot of people I've seen online saying Berger should have caught it, but for me, it was the right decision for Berger to come off her line, but the ball is just out of reach for it. It's just her fingertips get to the ball. I don't think she would have been able to catch it. She was at full stretch. It was just too high. Loops over her head, and Sydney Lohman is able to then head the ball in at the back post. If anything, Chelsea defending is the real reason that ball went in the back of the net, not Berger's stretching up into the air to try and catch the ball at full stretch. I think that the Bayern Munich team would have been really trying their best to not create any set piece opportunities for Chelsea, because they know as soon as you get Millie Bright in the mix and you start throwing in those giant players, you are going to cause yourself problems. And the 1-1 equaliser came from a really silly tackle outside the area on Guro Reiten, who she wins the set piece. She takes it, she creates an assist, sweeping ball into the area, really, really beautiful. And Leopolds jumps higher than anybody else and gets the ball into the back of the net.
Yeah, it was a lucky bounce for Leopolds too, but that's what happens. It goes your direction when you put the ball in the box and cause some chaos.
I felt like it was against the run of play a little bit. Like, I felt like that first quarter was really dominated by Bayern Munich, and Chelsea maybe were just a bit shocked. So to get that equaliser changed the entire game, because at that moment, ball goes in the back of the net, it's 1-1. Bayern kind of didn't really know how to cope, and they got a bit frustrated.
Yeah, I had the same impression that it was really Chelsea's half at the end of the day. The last, I would say, 25 minutes of the half, Chelsea dominated possession. They absolutely had control of the game. It was almost like Bayern was giving them too much space. It did feel like it was a tactic on Bayern's end, at least defensively, to keep their midfield really tight and just let Chelsea swing it around the back as much as they wanted. But the moment they tried to progress forward, that's when Bayern would close down. But what that led to is Chelsea just dominating possession. Bayern definitely changed that at halftime. When they came out in the second half, we saw a totally different game, basically.
Second half, referee gives an advantage during the game for a tackle. Hannah Glass takes the ball forward. Nobody challenges her. She gets to the edge of the box. Literally, her foot touches the edge of the penalty area. She kicks it as hard as she can. She scores a scorcher.
It was beautiful. I do want to comment really quickly. This obviously has to do with the game, but this is about the commentators. I was really annoyed listening to the commentary that I was listening to. So anybody who was on the Chelsea FC YouTube page live stream with me probably heard this too. That goal was absolutely stunning. Usually from that angle, when a player hits that ball, it's going far post like 99% of the time. They're trying to wrap it far post. They're trying to wrap it upper 90, far post. This snuck in upper 90, front post, which is so like intelligent, brilliant, and it was a gorgeous goal with some texture on it. It curved, absolutely stunning. And one of the commentators called it a mistake. He was like, we don't know if she was actually aiming for the far post, but got lucky and it slipped in the near post. And to me, that was just such a little like undercut of
so bitter.
It was just such an undercut of like, you would never say that about a male EPL player who slotted a beautiful ball in the top near corner. You would just be like, stunning, intelligent, brilliant. And here we are, she's done the exact same thing. And you're being like, well, maybe she was aiming for the far post. It's like, screw you, dude. No.
Just to absolutely go the opposite direction, I'm going to just literally slather Hannah Glass in compliments. She's had a tough few years, and coming into this squad, it's an absolutely new player. She pretty much plays every fixture for Bayern. She's like one of their dead certs, like to get into that first starting 11. And today she created the first chance with that looping cross from the right wing, and she scored that absolute stunner to change the entire game. And at the start of the second half as well, when they just come into their dressing room at the end of the first half, probably going, how have we lost this? Like, how is it 1-1, guys? Like, we dominated. Why we all lost our heads? Everyone chill. Hannah Glass comes out with the composure of somebody 2 times her age and scores that absolute stunner against one of the world's best teams. Hannah Glass, take a bow.
Take a bow.
Did you think that it was a deserved 2-1 win in the end?
I definitely did. I thought they were, as a whole, the team that played the more comprehensive, full game. Chelsea looked tired in the end. Emma Hayes obviously made some wonderful substitutions that really helped that. But Bayern absolutely dominated the second half. And to me, they deserved the win in this game. At the end of the day, though, it's not a huge defeat for Chelsea because they're going home. They're only 1 goal down in the aggregate. And I think it's okay.
Well, they've got an away goal as well, so they just have to score 1, and then they're in the lead at Kingsmeadow. I think they'd be gutted not to be able to have, fans in for that game, because I've been to a Chelsea Champions League game at Kingsmeadow, and the atmosphere was absolutely unreal, and it's a game changer. And those Chelsea fans are absolutely excellent, and they really are behind their team this year, especially. Like, they really are supporting it. And one little comment. And maybe I'm just being a bit diggy, but I'm just getting a bit sick of this in the women's game a little bit. Beth England, towards the end, they're losing 2-1. She absolutely flopped outside the area and got the team a foul. And I'm really hating seeing this creep into the game a little bit. Just here and there in the women's game, and you just think, don't flop about. Like, you've got enough strength. Like, she is built. Yeah. Her legs are like 2 tanks. She could have held herself up. She could have won that challenge fair and square, but she just flopped under absolutely nothing, and it just kind of annoys me that's creeping in. And that's not, I'm a pro Beth England player. I love Beth England. I'm so into her. I just don't like seeing it in the game, full stop, But that's my only comment on that. PSG Barcelona, also a bit of a shock, ended 1-1. What a matchup between two just well-organised, well-drilled, classic, beautiful playing football teams, right?
I was so excited for this because both of these midfields are just stunning midfields, and you match them up against each other, and it was a battle of the midfields for me in this game. That's what it was. It was a battle to see which midfield could really control the ball, and it was back and forth, and absolutely, this is a fantastic matchup. I said it last week, I'll say it again. I think whoever wins between PSG and Barcelona, whoever comes out of that into the final will win the Champions League.
Oh, it's going to be so meaty, the Champions League final. I can't wait.
It's going to be meaty. That's a good word for it.
Before the game kicked off, it was really nice to see the PSG head coach, Pochettino, who's obviously a very famous manager, come and support the women's team. I'm really loving starting to see that trickle through of men's managers, like Pep Guardiola does it as well, just coming to support the women, but more so knowing that the impact of them being in the stadium just garners so much respect around the women's game. And I love Pochettino, always loved him as a manager, just think he's absolutely brilliant. So totally just loved seeing that. Just really quickly, don't want to dwell on it too much. A couple of things about the lineup. Oshwala wasn't starting despite those crucial performances in the past 2 Champions League games. She was a little bit injured, coming back from injury. She obviously did come on towards the end of the game, made such a huge difference even in that small period that she was on. Another person, Alana Cook, who you would have missed, Sarah, obviously not playing. American / English, who knows, player missing for PSG through injury. Lawrence was filling in there at right wing, and Nodiani for PSG in that right wing position. Same formation as usual for both clubs, though, other than that. I noticed, similarly to Bayern, lots of Barcelona meaty challenges in that opening 20-25 minutes. The referee, I think we're starting to be like, I'm going to have to start being a bit cardy here in this game with these Barcelona players, because I think they were going, yeah, we're Barcelona and we're going to absolutely eat chunks out of you. That's how it felt. That they were really trying to sort of scare PSG a little bit. What did you make of it?
It felt to me like there was just some competitive tension. Like, this is a really big game between two really big clubs who are used to winning their games, and they both came out really hard, and the tackles showed, and I'm okay with that.
Caroline Graham-Hansen, who we all love, is getting a lot of accolades at the moment. She had a few really good moves in the game, notably opening 10 minutes. She got the first shot off in the game, managed to shift the ball onto the right foot, get a shot away, and then 5 minutes later, streaming down that right-hand side, loops the ball into the box. I think we were talking about it in the last game. It's just impossible for the keeper really to make a decision on it because it's so looping over the top. So you're not going to catch it. But if you're on your line, you're not going to stand a chance against a player from, 2 or 3 yards out. So kind of buggered. And then Jenny Hermosa, who else, scores a headed goal back post. The goal was all Caroline Graham-Hansen's, though, who made that. She's turning into a really wonderful creative winger, I think, and fantastic. I'm really disappointed in the PSG goal from a Barcelona defensive perspective because they've just been so solid and it was kind of really out of place. They're defending in packs. They've got pretty much all their team back, Barcelona. I have absolutely no idea how they've managed to loop the ball into the net from a corner. It seemed like a really lazy sort of set piece defending. And for 1 minute, you thought Barcelona looked really fragile.
They looked human in this game. It really did, for the first time, humanize them to the point of PSG could take this next week.
Yes, they could.
They could.
They could.
Very much
They
so.
so
I mean, I
could.
know they're away next week, but they absolutely could.
Yeah, hell yeah. Well, that kind of covers our Champions League coverage. But really quickly, before we move on to the WSL, let's say it. Who is winning the next second leg? Chelsea versus Bayern at Kings Meadow. 3, 2, 1.
Chelsea.
Bayern. Yes, okay, we've got opposites.
Yeah, that's a hard one for me.
And
But
also,
I just went
we're
with
not
the home
going,
team.
Are we ignoring draws? Should we just not? Draws don't exist in our game.
It's less fun that way. Yeah.
Okay, PSG or Barcelona to win. It's just that individual leg. 3, 2, 1. Barcelona. Okay, right. We're stuck on the same thing, but it's fine. I'm keeping
It's
my
okay.
Barcelona.
It's okay. I had to go. I called a Chelsea Barca final for the record, so I got to stick with it.
I have to switch because I
have
win
to
it
switch.
because I got Bayern. So I've caught up 1 point to you. If I catch up 1 more point to you,
I mean, I think frankly they're both 50-50.
I'm going for PSG.
All right, here we go. Helen's got PSG. Oh my goodness. We're not even done. We've already covered so many wonderful games and we're not even done. All right. Heading over to the FA WSL, which we've missed. We haven't talked about the WSL in a moment. They're back. And guess what's back with the WSL? Our favorite bottom of the table clashes.
Yes.
It's getting hot in the in the
Banana
bottom
slip.
of the table. I mean, we're going to talk bottom of the table. We're going to talk top of the table because there was obviously the Chelsea-Manchester City clash. But first, let's get into the bottom of the table. West Ham, Birmingham City, Aston Villa, and Bristol City are all fighting to not be relegated. So, and they are also basically all just playing each other to close out the season.
I love
which
it.
is absolutely brilliant. So, going into this week, we had West Ham in 9th, Birmingham City in 10th, Aston Villa in 11th, and Bristol City in last place at 12th. So, we got a tie from West Ham and Aston Villa in a midweek fixture. Scoreless there. Aston Villa then turned around and took on Bristol City on Saturday and tied again. This team...
What a game that was.
What
that
a game.
2-2.
2-2 game.
I wish we could cover it in more depth if it wasn't like the Champions League semi-final week, but that was an absolute corker, guys. Watch that game if you haven't already.
West Ham's weekend game came and they were facing the very unpredictable middle of the table Everton. This game ended in a 0-0 tie. And then Birmingham City faced Reading on Sunday, which also ended in a 1-1 tie. So essentially what we have here is all 4 bottom of the table teams all got a point. We had a couple teams play 2 games. So what we have now basically is the standings look the same. West Ham is still in 9th. Birmingham City in 10th, Aston Villa in 11th, and Bristol City in 12th.
And then it kind of neatly brings us onto the top of the table because it really does come down to the wire at both ends of the table, because Chelsea took on Man City. It was a must-win, I would say, game for Man City. And for Chelsea, they would have loved the 3 points because it would have pretty much sealed the title. But a point will do.
This was quite a game. So to recap, Chelsea was sitting 2 points ahead of City on the table going into this game. City really needed the win. If Chelsea won, obviously that would essentially put Chelsea out of reach for City. So this game ended in a 2-2 draw. Sam Kerr scored the opening goal in the 25th minute. However, City very quickly equalized. Chloe Kelly scored a beautiful goal in the 29th minute. And then it was quick after that Chelsea came back. Sam Kerr drew a penalty and Peniel Harder put that penalty kick away in the 34th minute. And it remained 2-1 Chelsea for a very long time until the 74th minute when Lauren Hemp scored a gorgeous goal off of a cross from Chloe Kelly. I mean, first of all, that connection has just been there recently. And Lauren Hemp, again, showing up in a big game. I know you love her. I know she's your girl. Nonetheless, this game ended in a 2-2 draw, which means that Chelsea still sit 2 points ahead of City in the table. Obviously, both of these teams still have some games to play through the rest of the season, through May 9th, but all of these games are games that Chelsea is expected to win. So the road to victory still just got a little harder for City. Helen, is it over?
Yeah, it's an interesting one. So couple of things. Like, first of all, this game, just really quickly to shout it out, this game was one of the best spectacles in women's football that was, in terms of like in the UK, it was aired on TV, and I was just like so proud to be a women's football fan. I was like, I told you all that women's football is brilliant. People were commenting on it online, but in particular the Berger save that it's kind of gone down now in like Twitter history, but the Berger save towards the end of the game at 2-2, which basically saved Chelsea, is world
Thank you for
class.
calling that out. I can't believe I missed that in the recap of the game. It was absolutely world class. This was going to be this was going to put City on top. This was going to be the title winner for Manchester City, and Berger, I don't know how she did it. It was an absolutely world-class, one of the most incredible saves I've ever seen in my life.
So, of course, I know that I get obsessed with this stuff, but I saw it on a sort of joint men's, women's page sort of thing. And the comments were all positive. One guy wrote, "I'm getting more and more impressed by the women's game, but the keeping standard is still subpar. However, this is a top save," and that really annoyed me. And I replied saying, "You could write this backhanded compliment, or you could say, considering the women's game got goalkeeping coaches in 2017 and was banned for over 50 years, it's absolutely remarkable how far the professional women's game has come. What a save by a talented athlete." And then you replied saying, "Touché." Why do I not think it's over? Really quickly before we close, because I've got optimistic City fan. Chelsea are taking on Bayern on the 2nd of May. And then they play Tottenham, mid-table, decent team, with a lot of fight in them, on the 5th of May, 3 days later. And then this is going to be the clincher. On the last day of the season, they take on Reading. And Sarah and I have said it a million times, and 1,000,001 times we will now say it. Reading are the most hit-and-miss team you can play in the WSL. If Reading bring it on the 9th of May, then who the hell knows what's going to happen. And I'd also like to emphasise the 9th of May, guys, bear that in mind, last day of the season. The 16th of May, aka 7 days later, is the Champions League final. So if Chelsea make it to the Champions League final, they're not just got their eyes set on the WSL title on the 9th of May. They've got to think 7 days ahead where the Champions League final takes place. So it is not over. It is far from over. And I would also like to add, Manchester City definitely have the easier run to the end of the season. Do I think Chelsea will win it? Yes, I do. But do I think it's all over? It's never over. It's never over.
I love it. Hey, all it takes is Chelsea tying a game and City winning a game, and all of a sudden they're equal in points, and who knows what happens.
I can't contain myself. I can't contain myself.
a lot happening and we're covering all of it. So everybody head over to thewososhow.com, read blogs, go to our socials at The Woso Show on Instagram and Twitter. We have all of the coverage of the Challenge Cup, games, times, TV listings, where you can watch them. Basically, we have everything. Everything you want, we have it here.
And on top of it all, we have extra content over on Patreon. Thank you so much to our new subscribers this week. We've got a few $2 subscribers, which is really appreciated. It just helps us with equipment. It helps us to go to games when the games are back on, and it helps us to do better coverage. So we really appreciate it. As always, thank you so much to Mike, who does our editing. We really appreciate it, and you do an amazing job. You make me sound remotely good, so love that.
Yeah, you guys would not believe the difference between how Helen sounds when I'm on with her and how she sounds when I hear the episode back. It's unbelievable.
I'm like, and then he makes it turn into something eloquent.
Yeah, this isn't Helen's voice. Mike puts a little like filter over it to make her sound more easy on the ears. Yeah,
easy on the ear. I hate you so much. Thank you so much for listening to this week's episode. I've been Helen.
I've been Sarah. Thanks, everyone.
Bye.